Hey guys, what is up, and I welcome each and every one of you to a new League of Legends video. So today is that time once again to take a look at the biggest changes coming to next patch, being patch 8.20. If you guys end up enjoying the video, then don't forget to hit that like button, but as usual, this video will be made in collaboration with Pro Guys. It's a website that tries to help and improve your overall League of Legends gameplay and knowledge, especially now with the season almost coming to an end. The link is down below. You can check them out completely for free. Highly recommend it, guys, and hopefully it'll help you climb in the last month remaining. Alright guys, so let's start things off by talking about the biggest change coming to this patch in just a couple of days, and that's of course going to be the Ezreal rework, or mini-rework, or W rework, or whatever. So first, when it comes to his other abilities, being his passive, his Q ability, his E ability, and his ultimate ability, for the most part, they are actually the exact same, with maybe some slight changes with the numbers or ratios, but again, for the most part, it is essentially the same thing. His W ability is where things really get spicy and different, because this ability has essentially been fully reworked to now being an actual ability, a useful one that you will actually want to use in your combos. So this ability has a 50 mana cost, 12-second cooldown, and essentially it fires an orb that sticks to the first champion or objective hit for 4 seconds. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly does an objective mean? What does it encompass? Well, it'll work on towers, it'll work on Baron, and it'll work on Dragon, but I do not believe it works on jungle monsters. Hitting the orb will deal up to 255 base damage by rank 5 with a 60% bonus AD ratio and a 70% AP ratio, and detonating it with an ability actually refunds that ability's mana cost plus 60. So the biggest thing to note about his W is that it is a fairly difficult ability because number one, it is a skill shot, you actually have to land it. Number two, when you actually land on your target, it doesn't do any initial damage. You have to actually proc it with your Q, with your E, with your ultimate, or anything. Again, you can also do it with an auto attack, but sometimes obviously just an auto attack might be a little bit difficult unless you're hitting maybe like a tank. Now, the biggest thing I noticed about this is in the laning phase, if you're able to land a W into a Q, not only is it just very, very powerful harass, though it's hard to do, but you get more mana back than you probably used initially to even use both abilities. So that in itself is actually quite good when it comes to mana sustain, so maybe, just maybe, we can have different builds for Ezreal coming up down in the bot lane that doesn't have to just abuse mana immune, since now he might not be as reliant on the mana stack as he currently is. Following that, the biggest difference as well is, especially if you're playing AP Ezreal, his damage on towers with the new W is disgusting. It is massive. It will literally like half HP towers with a W into an auto attack with a Lich Bane. It is insane. But having said that, even if you're playing AD Ezreal, as long as you have a Triforce, it is still definitely quite respectable. So Ezreal's overall pushing power as an AD carry has increased quite a bit to be almost as strong as maybe someone like Tristana. So that itself is quite a big. And of course, the just overall harass and poke, maybe when you're sieging a tower with a W into a Q, is really strong as well if you actually land both abilities, which again, it's not easy to do, but it is not only satisfying but also very powerful. So all in all, guys, this Ezreal rework, I have to say, is actually quite a good. Again, it's not a full rework, but making his W an actual useful ability and actually be something that is kind of scary to face is much better. The champion will be much stronger, so definitely expect Ezreal to be played quite often in the next patch. I feel like his success rate and win rate should be actually fairly decent, since he still is for the most part the same champion, only one ability is just different. But moving along, guys, let's talk about actual buffs and nerfs coming over to the champions, with first one being Ahri. Now, the nerf is going to be towards her ultimate Spirit Rush, where the cooldown on this ability has been increased by a total of 20 seconds at rank 1, 10 seconds at rank 2, and then back to the 80 seconds, which is the same at rank 3. So all in all, I mean, not the biggest nerf in the entire world, and I'm not entirely sure if Riot is actually aware of what people are currently abusing on champions like Ahri, Veigar, and Vel'Koz, being of course the Glacial Augmented build that I did make a video about just a few days ago. It does not seem like this nerf is directly related to that whatsoever, so I'm assuming they're just nerfing Ahri for the sake of nerfing Ahri, because for the most part, even without the Glacial Augment build, Ahri is still quite powerful. But having said that, I don't think this is actually going to reduce her win rate by too much, if any at all. But speaking of a champion that is insanely strong and honestly fairly easy to play, we have Evelynn. Finally, some Evelynn nerfs coming out. The first of which being towards her E ability Whiplash, where the empowered damage has been lowered at all the earlier ranks, but as you rank it up back to rank 5, it's the exact same. So a little bit weaker in the earlier parts of the game. But it does not stop there just yet, because her ultimate Last Caress, the damage on this has also been lowered, but this time at every single rank by 25. So this shouldn't completely gut the champion, but this is definitely much more of a nerf to the champion compared to what the nerf to Ahri was. Evelynn overall should be a tad weaker because of the nerf to her ultimates, but also snowballing might be a tad more difficult simply because of the fact that her E ability just does less damage overall. Moving along, we have a surprisingly small nerf coming over to Graves. I mean, Graves is arguably the best jungler at the very moment. The champion is insanely powerful. The nerf is just going to be towards his base damage being lowered by 3. Now, I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot, and don't get me wrong, it isn't the biggest nerf in the world, especially for a champion like Graves, but on top of obviously his auto attacks doing less damage, his clear being a little bit slower, this also means that his abilities will also do a little bit less damage since he just has less base damage to work off of. Again, at the end of the day, 3 is still not a lot, and I mean, even though it will hurt him, it'll just be a slap on the wrist, which kind of is concerning because I don't know how many more patches we have to have Graves being literally the best top tier number uno mas jungler in League of Legends. Rito Games, what are you doing? Nerf this shit. But I guess for now, we'll have to just settle with the 3 base damage nerf. Moving along, we also have a nerf coming over to Nami. A little bit surprising, I'll be honest with you. I don't really see Nami too much, and even though she is fairly powerful, I didn't think it actually warranted a nerf, but the nerf is as follows. It's going to be towards her W, Ebb and Flow. The heal on this ability has just overall been lowered. Only 5 at rank 1, but as you rank it up, it actually nerfs it harder and harder. By the time it gets to rank 5, it will now heal for just overall 15 less HP, or base HP. If you're a Nami player, you can definitely be happy that the damage numbers are not changed whatsoever, and I guess I can see where the heal nerfs are coming from because she does have one of the most kind of aggressive laning phases of all support champions, but while also having a heal in there as well, it does make her quite a dominant down in the bot lane, so nerfing that a tad is not too bad. And I believe they're nerfing it as you rank it up because most Namis probably maxed out their W first just because of how powerful the ability overall is, offering HP and also damage. Next up, we have yet another kind of small nerf coming over to Sion, also a little bit surprising considering the champion honestly is actually quite decent. The nerf is as follows. His base HP regeneration has been lowered from 1.8 to 1.5. How much this is actually going to affect the champion and how much this is actually going to nerf him, I have absolutely no idea. It doesn't sound like it's a lot. I doubt it's going to be a lot. I doubt if you play Sion, you'll probably even notice a difference at all. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Rito Games with a you what mate on that one because it seems like they're just nerfing things for the sake of nerfing things without actually wondering if the nerf will actually be an actual nerf. So this one also is a little bit on the questionable side as well. 1, because Sion is quite powerful, and 2, because this nerf is it's a little bit laughable. Next up, we also have a nerf coming over to Dark Harvest, and finally Riot is actually nerfing something correctly because Dark Harvest at the moment is extremely abusable in the jungle. You can even take it on assassin type junglers like maybe Kha'Zix or Lee Sin, and your damage on those champions, it scales so hard, it scales surprisingly fast, and holy shit does it do just so much damage. So the nerf to this is going to be as follows. The bonus damage has been lowered from 40 to 80 to now being only starting at 20 and only going up to 60. In other words, just a flat 20 damage reduction. I'm definitely praying that this is going to be enough to make people not want to take this keystone anymore because again, it is so disgustingly strong. It outscales and becomes more useful than Electrocute literally within like 15 minutes or maybe even 20 minutes within the game. So, and even before that, even then, it's still not that much weaker than what Electrocute can offer as long as you use it correctly and don't let the timer tick off before you're of course at 150 stacks where it takes a minute or 2. So all in all, thank you Riot for actually doing a correct nerf for once and not doing a kind of questionable one like the one you did to Sion and the one you did to Graves as well, because I don't know what happened there. And the final thing that I want to talk about before we end off this video is going to be, of course, the new skins coming out. We have Dragon Trainer Heimer and Infernal Amumu. Now, Infernal Amumu is going to be 1,350 RP or 1,350 RP. When I have to say, it's actually a very sexy looking skin. And if you're an Amumu player, this is definitely a skin you have to buy because holy shit, he actually looks like just a walking ball of fire. But speaking of sexy skins, we have Dragon Trainer Heimer. Now, before there was a teaser that was made showcasing a little egg hatching and someone talking, and apparently it was Heimer, so that's going to be the skin for him. It's an absolutely gorgeous skin, 1820 RP, which isn't too bad, especially for what you're getting. It looks absolutely sexy in game. You literally summon dragons as your turrets, and you summon a big dragon for your ultimate turret, which looks really cool as well. And I mean, if you're a Heimer player, like, you know, Heisendonk, for instance, man, this is a skin you have to get. Even if you're broke, man, put some money aside, go to the bank, get a loan, get the skin, and you will not regret it. But either way, guys, that is going to be about it for this video. There you have it, a bunch of changes coming out. Not the biggest patch in the entire world, but definitely some things that you have to watch out for. Like I said, the Evelynn nerfs and of course also the Dark Harvest nerfs are the biggest ones for sure. You also have the Ezreal rework coming in, so watch out for him coming out to the bot lane. And also, don't be too surprised if you see Ezreal in the mid lane as either AD or especially as an AP champion, because his damage with his W and also with his Q with Proxit is insane. His tower pushing with the Lichbane is insane. I promise you, you will be surprised if you see it in your game, so watch out for it. But either way, guys, that is it for this video. If you did enjoy, then definitely hit that like button. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't. Check out my other videos as well. But thank you all so much for being here, and hopefully I'll see you from my next video as well. Peace.